sorry. So I put them on Shiva for tonight.
Yeah, but who died today, so where is that?
Oh, normally I would wait 1 week to after the burial, but we'll mention them.
Is that an FTC? Do you have to show proof of circumcision to say?
Feel free to say and if you want to just for the month, and not for the whole year, just say for the month. I have no problem with that. There's certain personalities that I do not know personally that I've added. If they had like David White bottoms, oh, I did Ruth Bader Ginsburg before here. Oh my God. Still devastating. That's three women. Yep. So many of them get up. Such a big Or vibrate if you're on call. I'm always on call. That's always a good one. I'll just do the first one. You take it over. You tell me. Shabbat Shalom. Let's take a deep breath in. What a beautiful evening. Just stunning. So glad we're all together on this wonderful Shabbat evening. Behold how good and how pleasant it is that we are together as one congregational family. Hine Mato, page 11.
Same page. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
page 19.
We now continue the lighting of the Shabbat candles on page 25. I'd like to call upon our bar mitzvah of tomorrow morning, Daniel Zwick, as well as his family, Nora Lee, that's his beloved sister, of course, and his parents, the amazing Kevin and Helen. Page 25.
In the beginning there is darkness. The darkness of chaos seems eternal. Yet form emerges, light dawns, and life is born. In the beginning the Most High made heaven and earth.
In every beginning there is darkness, the darkness of ignorance which smothers human dignity, the darkness of fear which chokes the creative will, the darkness of tyranny which stifles freedom.
The Most High said, "Let there be light."
The seventh candles celebrate the divine power that makes for life and light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu ad l'kner shel Shabbat.
Blessed is the eternal power that inspires our people to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Blessed is the source of life and light.
May we be blessed with the light of dignity, creation, and freedom. May we be blessed with a life of joy, love, and peace.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'ad likner shel Shabbat.
Now that we've welcomed Shabbat, I invite you to welcome the person next to you. Wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Maybe wave at someone you don't know. Wish them a Shabbat
Shabbat Shalom.
All right.
These words from a distant time express Sabbath's inner meaning. When creation rests and existence is sure, when chaos is ordered and being is securely launched upon its voyage, then is the Sabbath born.
Through the centuries, Israel has given itself to the Sabbath, seeing it as the climax of its life, even as it was the climax of creation. The Sabbath blessed the people and received in return the grateful responses of their changing lives.
The centuries changed the people, and the people changed the Sabbath. In periods of darkness, the Sabbath glowed with the promised Messiah's light. To those in torment, the Sabbath brought its healing power of peace. In times of freedom, the Sabbath was brilliant with reason and knowledge.
The centuries, the people, the Sabbath continued to change. People belong to their time. The Sabbath belongs to the people.
Page 27. Now Shabbat is with us. Now we reach out for the divine in ourselves and in the world.
In freedom, each of us seeks the Sabbath of the soul.
Here, time and place invite our commitment to the ancient purpose that our present hopes. Now, time and place are one, bringing promise of triumph over anguish and despair. And when we shall have gone from this place on our separate ways, may our words and promises bring fulfillment and peace.
May our words and promises become deeds, bringing fulfillment and peace.
In this sanctuary, we seek to free ourselves from the fears and conflicts that estrange us from one another.
May our words and thoughts give us hope and strength.
We therefore acclaim the eternal power in the universe that helps us to grow in understanding and love and leads us to freedom.
Yitgadal Shmei Rabbah Yomad Divra Kirutei V'yamlich Malchutei V'chayechon V'yomecho U'chayei Tekol Beit Yisrael Ba'gala Ba'gala U'bizman Kariv Imaru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Li'alam Li'al Me'al Maya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitroman V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yit'aleh V'yithalal Shemei Dekudashah Refu La'elam Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nehemata Damihiran Me'alma Yimaru Amen.
Continue on page 30 with Baruch Hu.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bivaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chachma potech sha'arim, Uvikuna Mashana Itim, Umachalif et Hasmanim, Umasader et Hakochavim, Umishmerotehem, Barakia Kirtsono, Bore Yom Valila, Goleo Or Mikne Choshek, Vachoshek Mikne Or, Umavir Yom Umevilala, Umadil Ben Yom Vaymaila, Adonai Sabaoth Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu, L'Olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim.
There was silence, there was chaos, and there was a voice. A mind went forth to form words. Now order reigns where chaos once held sway.
Allah makes evening fall, Allah brings on the dawn.
The moon follows accustomed paths, constellations their patterned ways.
Sovereign is the will that orders the stars in their courses in the endless skies. Sovereign is thy will.
How unyielding is the will of our people Israel. After the long nights, after the days and years when our ashes blackened the sky, Israel endures, hearts still turn to love, souls turning still to life. So day and night, early and late, we will rejoice in the study of Torah. We will walk by the light of mitzvot. They are our life and the length of our days. Praise be the source of life and love, and Israel, our people.
As you turn to page 35, I invite you to take a deep breath in. Don't forget to breathe out.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. We continue on page 36. Please be seated. As we continue with Ve'ahavta, led by our bar mitzvah tomorrow, Daniel's Way.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננת לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. You shall love the eternal your God with all your mind, with all your strength, and with all your being. Set these words, which I command you this day, upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, by down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to be God. I, the eternal God, am your God who loves you. Be your God. I, the eternal, am your God.
Page 38. The power that makes for freedom. We worship the power that unites all the universe into one great harmony. That oneness, however, is not yet. We see imperfection, disorder, and evil about us. But before our eyes is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. These two we have known in some measure. There is evil enough to break the heart, good enough to exalt the soul. Our people has experienced untold suffering and wondrous redemptions. We await a redemption more lasting and more splendid than any of the past. When will redemption come? When we look upon others as we would have them look upon us. We grant to every person the rights we claim for ourselves. Once we were in bondage, then we were free. In this first liberation, our people saw revealed the power of the Most High. They perceived that God's presence redeems time and event from the hands of the tyrants. We too acclaim the power that makes for freedom. We sing the song that celebrates our deliverance from Egypt and all bondage.
Page 40-41. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim, v'fos aleinu sukat shlomecha. Together may we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. May night spread over us a shelter of peace, of quiet and calm, the blessing of rest. There will come a time when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish. There will come a day of happiness, contentment, and peace. Praise be the source of joy within us, for the night and its rest, for the promise of peace.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשו אדוני, עשו אדוני, את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורותם בברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בברית עולם.
We continue now with our tefillah on pages 42 and following. I invite you to please rise if you are able.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufiyah ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei HaKol, ve'Zocher Hasdei Avot, ve'Imahot, u'Nei Geula lifnei b'neihem, le'man shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol haTorah le'Hoshea, Mori atah, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayeh emunato lishenei afar. Michal mocha ba'al gevuro, umido melach, melech nemid umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman nata lecha hayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Page 44. Blessed is the power that moved our ancestors and sustained them on their journey.
Abraham left familiar ways, set forth to an unknown land, and learned to silence terror with a ready heart. Sarah bore a steadfast commitment to God and was ultimately rewarded.
Isaac came to know how many parents may risk their children for the sake of a vision. Out of his weakness, he forged the strength to live in love. Rebecca's kindness and generosity provisioned her well for the journey to her destiny.
Jacob dreamed and fought and grew, at last to become the blessing he wrestled for.
Those who came before us sent forth a blessing of fashioned out of their longing to outgrow themselves. And their longing is ours.
Blessed is the power that sustains us on our journeys to the distant shores of blessing.
Love is the thread that binds our lives in a lasting fabric, which time shall fray.
Which time shall fray, but only to be rewoven by each generation.
Each generation will lift the fallen to their feet and hold them as they learn to walk.
And as they learn to walk, the sickness of our time will be healed by those who drink deep from ancient wells of truth.
From ancient wells of truth, they will draw strength to keep faith with those who sleep in the dust.
We praise the source of life and power, who has implanted within us the moral yearning undying hopes.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We join together. The holiness of this day is not for this day alone. We must make it overflow into all our minutes, to hallow our weekdays from these sacred moments, hour by hour, to make the world a sanctuary where every human soul may be at home. O may the all who feel at times the miracle of one another united in prayer be with us tomorrow. Keep tenderness in our words, our touch, and our look. Praise be the world and the power within it that makes for wholeness. Please be seated. Page 49.
Page 49, like he said. We give thanks for the return of our people to Zion, remembering the pain of her birth. We pray that now and always she may have peace and safety. We give thanks for the freedom in this land, and we pray for the peoples of every continent. May their highest hopes be made real, their noblest visions fulfilled. Praise be the strength and love that makes every land and every people towards justice and right.
הודעה, מודים אנחנו לך, שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו לעולם ועד. צור חיינו, מגן ישענו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. נודה לך ונספר תהילתך, על חיינו המסורים בידך, ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך, ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו, ועל נפלאותיך וטובותיך שבכל עת, ערב ובוקר וצהריים. הטוב כי לא חלו רחמיך, והמרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך. מעולם קיווינו לך, ועל כולם יתברך ויתרומם שמך, מלכנו, תמיד לעולם ועד. בכל החיים יודוך סלע, ויעללו את שמך באמת. האל ישועתנו בעזרתנו סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך, ולך נאה להודות.
Page 52. We live in two worlds, one that is and one that might not be. Nothing is ordained for us, neither delight nor defeat, neither peace nor war. Life flows, must freely choose. We can, if we will, change the world that is into the world that may come to be. As you're taught from of old, keep your tongue from evil and your lips from deceitful speech.
Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it.
Be of the disciples of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing it.
Loving all human beings and bringing them to the Torah.
The whole Torah exists only to bring peace, as it is written.
Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace.
Let justice dwell in the wilderness, righteousness in the fruitful field.
For righteousness shall lead to peace, shall be quietness and confidence forever.
Then all shall sit under their vines and under their fig trees.
And none shall make them afraid.
So Mel, you're going to come up next, okay? Let's get introduce you first. Well, you may not have noticed, but this is actually Sisterhood Shabbat. So I want to thank our Sisterhood for leading the beautiful service with Daniel. And before Melanie Pearson, who's going to do our Devar, Melanie's the vice president of the Sisterhood for Ritual and stuff. This is a very important annual service for us. It's important because not just that Sisterhood provides things to the synagogue, which they do, but it's very important for us collectively to lean into our feminine energy, to lean into the power of women around us. And I would say this because we need to kind of compensate for the way our world has raised all of us, a very misogynistic world we've lived in. And so we need to counterbalance that. And the way we do that is by leaning in, if you will, to the feminine energy around us, and more importantly, to women around us. So I just want to thank the Sisterhood for all of what they do, not just for the synagogue, what they do for the community, but more importantly, what they do for each other by creating that sense of chavruta, of true friendship amongst women that is so very necessary. So I just want to thank you all for what you do. Melanie Pearson.
The Torah portion I am speaking on is Shlach Lecha, and the most notable part of it is the story of the spies. But there's a few other things, but we'll get to that. So, I have to say I took my English translation from the Torah Modern Commentary, which was the Reform Torah commentary that I believe Rabbi Plow worked on?
He did 4 of the 5, yeah.
Okay. But, yeah, so not the Rabbi Plow who was here, but his father?
Yeah,
okay.
Bless him.
Yeah. So anyway, it starts out that the Eternal One spoke to Moses, asking Moses to pick 12 emissaries to go and scout out the land of Canaan. And he wanted emissaries each from one of their ancestral tribes, and then it goes out and lists all 12 of those from the tribe and who was picked. I'm not going to go into exactly all of those. You can look it up if you need to. But anyway, there were 12 of them. And Moses sent them to scout the land of Canaan. And he asked them to look at the people, see if they were strong or weak, few or many, to look at the country, see if it was good or bad, the towns, were they open or fortified, was the soil rich or poor, wooded or not, and to bring back fruit from the land. And so they went out, and I'm not going to go to the actual route that they took. If you're interested, you can also look that up. But at the end of 40 days, they returned from scouting the land, and they went straight to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community and said, and they made the report to the whole community, and they showed them the fruit. They brought back some big, lovely fruit, a bunch of grapes that was so big it had to be put on a branch and carried by 2 men. And they said, we came to the land you sent us to. It does indeed flow with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. The people who inhabit the country are powerful. The cities are fortified and very large. And Caleb rushed and hushed the people because they were kind of afraid at this point. Let us by all means go up, and we shall gain possession of it, for we shall surely overcome it. But the emissaries who had gone with them, so that was Caleb, and there was also Joshua. Caleb and Joshua were all for going for it and taking the land because they knew that God was behind this effort. But the 10 others were saying that we cannot attack the people, for it is stronger than we are. They compared themselves to grasshoppers. The country that we traversed and scouted is one that devours its settlers. All the people are of great size, and we look like grasshoppers to ourselves, and surely we look like grasshoppers to them too. Strange, but. And then Caleb and Joshua said, "You must," and fell to the ground and rent their clothes, and exhorted the whole Israelite community. "The land that we traversed and scouted is an exceedingly good land. If pleased with us, the Eternal will bring us into that land that flows with milk and honey and give it to us. Only you must not rebel against the Eternal. Have no fear then that the people of the country, for they do not have the Eternal's protection. The Eternal is with us." But the 10 others convinced the Israelite nation that there was no way we could take the land. So they all fell to the ground and cried and wept that they couldn't go. And the Eternal came to Moses and said, "How long will this people scorn me? How long they have no faith in me despite the signs that I have performed in their midst?" The Eternal felt rejected and not believed, and then said to Moses and Aaron, "How much longer shall that wicked community keep muttering against me? I have heeded this incessant muttering of the Israelites against me, because they had said, we should have died in Egypt. We should have died in the wilderness rather than be cut to death by swords trying to enter this land." And then the Eternal, "As I live, says the Eternal, I will do to you as you have urged me. In this very wilderness shall your carcasses drop. Of all of you men who were recorded in various lists from the age of 20 years up, you have muttered against me. Not one shall enter the land in which I swore to settle you, save Caleb son of Jephunneh and Joshua son of Nun. Your children, who you said would be carried off, these will I allow to enter, and they shall know the land that you have rejected. But your carcasses shall drop in this wilderness, while your children roam the wilderness for 40 years, suffering for your faithlessness, until the last of your carcasses is down in the wilderness. You shall bear your punishment for 40 years, corresponding to the number of days, 40 days that you scouted the land, a year for each day. Thus you shall know what it means to thwart me. I, the Eternal, have spoken. Thus will I do to all that wicked band that has banded together against me. In this very wilderness they shall die, and so be finished off." And then they take heed of what God says and go, "Oh no, we'll go now." It's like, wait, he just pronounced a judgment, and you're going to say, "No, I'll go now," when you don't have his backing anymore? It's like, it's ludicrous. But those crazy Israelites. And then God speaks to Moses about how to perform sacrifices to him, to make, when a person who presents an offering to the Eternal shall bring a meal offering, which includes flour and oil and wine to go along with the animal sacrifice. And so there's instructions on that, on the burnt offerings. And I hope if we ever build the temple again, there will be no burnt offerings. Maybe flour, oil, and wine. That wouldn't be so bad. Okay. And when, throughout the ages, the stranger who has taken up residence with you, or one who lives among you, would present an offering by fire of pleasing odor to the Eternal, you shall treat, there shall be one law for you and also for the resident stranger, so we treat everybody similarly. And when you enter the land which I am taking you, and you eat of of the bread of the land. So here comes in challah. You shall set some aside as a gift to the Eternal. As the first yield of your baking, you shall set aside a loaf as a gift. You shall set it aside as a gift, like the gift from the threshing floor. I would not be able to say that 20 times fast. But, and if you unwittingly fail to observe any one of the commandments that the Eternal has declared to Moses, anything that the Eternal has enjoined upon you through Moses, from that day that the Eternal gave the commandment, and on through the ages. If this was done unwittingly through the inadvertence of the community leaders shall present one bull of the herd as a burnt offering. But we can atone for a sin that is done unwittingly. Almost done. And then the next commandment and the last one in this Torah portion is the commandment of tzitzit, which interestingly I learned the gematria, the numerology behind the word tzitzit equal plus the number of knots and strands in an actual physical tzitzit adds up to 613, which are the number of commandments in the Torah. So, out of this Torah portion, pardon? Okay, out of this Torah portion, so there's the spies, which talks about trust and belief in God. There's the challah, which talks about our sustenance coming from God and our use of the challah to sustain our families. There's the tzitzit for the 613 commandments and putting those on our garments to remind us of those. And the following the 613 commandments leads to a good life, to love God and love thy neighbor, which I think is something that should lead to peace. And I have to say, I feel very honored to have Rabbi as my rabbi and for his involvement in the interfaith community, and which also leads to peace. And yeah.
Thanks, Mel. So before we go into silent reflection, one of the things that Melanie brought up is the idea of the 10 spies. And we had those that actually had a lot of fear. They lived in fear. And when we live in fear, well, we can't do much, can we? I once had a professor that said you have fear on this side and love on this side. I love that paradigm. When you're in fear, you can't really love. And I think it's important for us. So as we take a few moments of self-reflection, I invite you to lean into that feeling a little bit. What are you fearful of right now? What's in your way that you need to kind of remove, bring out that loving energy to replace it? We pause in silent reflection. focus our energies now on those who are ill and in need of healing. On this Shabbat, we think of Jana Agrovich, Sally Mendez, Hannah Bat Miriam, Bobby Barco, Bob Bell, Robert Berg, Dr. Arnold Berliner, Sandy Beinstock, Pauline Bronstein, Carol Brindell, Rich Burns, Ina Bruns, Melissa Champer, Chu Chi, Talia Sarowski, Deanna Courtright, David Dierig, Midori Dierig, Henry Hansen, Jenna Fischoff-Hyman, Carolyn Franklin, Holly Fugit, Marilyn Fuller, Roberta Gabriel, Marcia Gieser, Charlene Griffin, Jack Haff, Olivia Hand, Linda Harris, Dr. Gary Height, Jennifer Johnson, Mimi Jones, Sylvia Karp, Don Kepler, Evelyn Katz-McCosker, Mark Kusanovich, Patricia Kusanovich, Carol Lesage, Bobby Lotman, Austin Lucero, Janice Lucero, Gerald Maddox, Missy Marsh, Stephen Marceri, Rich McCarthy, Maria Bita McClure, Rich Meador, Beverly Meador, Gunther Myberg, Barbara Wanamaker-Neiman, Glenn Overstreet, Alice Ponce, Heidi Preston, Sherry Prezant, Tad Prezant, Stephanie Rasmussen, Harriet Reisner, Linda Rogers, Julius Rodriguez, Eva Rose, Devone Ross, Daryl Sanchez, Laura Sanders, Glenn Sanders, Victoria Schneider, Shirley Silverman, Kathleen Spencer Jones, Jonathan Stern, Tamara Bat Iris Yosef, Kirsten Teague, Donna Thyman, Gina Thrower, Carol Thayer, Sue Timpson, Nancy Weisenfeld, Eleanor Williams, Sue Witten, David Weiner, Monica Wiley, Jacob Ben Ada, Brandon Yarkin, Tammy Zieghofer. If you wish to add another name to our healing list, I invite you to raise your hand. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We wish upon all those we mentioned and those who remain unnamed a refuah shlema, a speedy and complete recovery, as we join together praying for their better health with Misha Berach. Which one are we doing? And you will find it on page 111. It's now my privilege to welcome our new president, the one and only David Hyman, for announcements. Woohoo!
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom. My name is David Hyman, and I'd like to welcome you to our Patio Sisterhood Shabbat, led by Rabbi Magat, Cantor Shafritz, and members of our own sisterhood, and didn't they do a fantastic job? Today's Oneg is sponsored by Sisterhood, Helen Lynn and Kevin Zwick, in honor of their bar mitzvah of their son Daniel, Jeff Rudy in memory of his mother Sarah, and by my wife and me in memory of my father Donald. After the service, we invite you to the Temple House for Kiddush, Hamotzi, and Oneg. First off, Mazel Tov to the Zwick family on the bar mitzvah of their son Daniel, tomorrow at 10:30. Last chance to purchase tickets for our annual preschool fundraiser at the San Jose Giants game tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Rabbi Magat will throw the first pitch, and Cantor will lead Take Me Out to the Ballpark. Hope to see you there. And Rabbi, you better leave your Dodger stuff at home.
It's way underneath there. I believe that they're playing the Rancho Cucamonga Dodgers, though. Just saying. Just saying.
For real?
Yes. Of course, that's what we're going with.
Any way he can. On Tuesday, the rabbi will hold his weekly chat at noon, and Israeli dancing will take place at 7:30 p.m. On Wednesday, be sure to join our next exciting Zigzag event. Members will show and tell their heirloom family treasures. Sign up and join us on Zoom at 7 p.m. If you enjoy camping, join us on June 24th for a unique overnight Shabbat in nature experience at Portola Redwood State Park. For only $36 per family, we'll enjoy, a bargain at any price. We'll enjoy hiking, a picnic dinner with Havdalah, campfire singing and s'mores, stargazing, and sunrise together. Sign-up deadline is Wednesday, June 21st, so don't miss out. Our next game night is Sunday, June 26th at 6 p.m. We have many games available, but feel free to bring your own favorite. Bring a non-dessert snack to share and your own liquid refreshments. Sisterhood will provide dessert. RSVP online. Jewish Heritage Night with the A's versus the Yankees will be at Oakland Coliseum on June 27th. Contact Brotherhood at templesanjose.org to join this festive event. For you book lovers, the Sefer Club has moved their discussion of The Secret Chord to Thursday, June 29th at 7 p.m., so you still have 2 weeks to finish the novel, that seeks to bring the myth of David to life. On July 4th, we hope you can join clergy and members of our community for San Jose's annual Rose, White, and Blue Parade. Check online for details. We hope to see you in person out here next Friday night, June 23rd at 6 p.m. And finally, the gift shop is open after the Oneg for your Judaica needs. Shabbat Shalom.
Nice. Look at you, David. You have a little following now. That's great. And you just began your term. By then, I can imagine in the next 2 years what's going to happen. It's my great honor to invite Sandra Cohen for a very special presentation that Sister would like to do now.
Hello. Tonight Sisterhood honors Eileen Levine. She's been a member of Sisterhood for over 30 years, and throughout that time she's exemplified what Sisterhood is all about. She is one of the most generous and loving individuals that I know. She has on numerous occasions helped out sick members, bringing food and chauffeuring them. She has opened her home for months to friends who lost their home to fire. She gets up early and goes to Stern Grove and plays in theaters and saves spots for other members of Sisterhood who can sleep in, and we all appreciate that. She has
participated in Sisterhood Shabbats, doing the Reader's Kaddish like she did tonight. She has been there to help with Sisterhood catering for many times, including Break the Fast. She has formed and moderates the Sisterhood Book Club. I don't know how she does it with her working and everything else that she does, but she manages to keep it going and keeps books available for us. And I don't think Sisterhood would be the same without her. And it gives me pleasure to invite Eileen to come up here and to receive Women of Valor pin.
Nice, mazel tov. How thoughtful. And the one thing she does that all of us are aware of is gift shop, of course, so I have to mention that as well. Continue with Elaine on page 116. It is our minhag at Temple Emanu-El, upon hearing the names of our loved ones who've died recently or in years past, to stand if we choose to as a sign of love and grief for that person, and to remain standing until all the names on our yahrzeit list have been recited, then together we'll all rise. On this Shabbat, we are mindful of those that are grieving the Shiva, the first week of mourning, for Daniel Ellsberg, beloved friend and classmate of Dr. Dick Zog. We also think of those that are grieving the Shloshim, the 30-day period of mourning for Mary Gold, as well as those that are grieving the Shana, the first year mourning for Evan Aronoff, Mike Kahn, Jolene Cannell, Laura Danoff Robinson, Robert DeNike, Edith Donath, Mervyn Durlister, Betty Fargo, Nessia Fistrom, Harold Fletcher, Natalie Goldman, Fritz Gottfeld, Jacqueline Hall, James Hayward, Gail Jacobs, Walter Jacobs, Young Kim, Steve Koss, Shirley Lerner, Rochelle Marquis, Marianne Mates, Joyce Mendel, Bishop P.J. McGraw, Janice Palmer, Bradley Parkins, Thomas Parkins, Deanna Marie Pender, Herman W. Poland, Ruth Rosenberg, Lawrence Ross, Mitzi Sapper, Randy Shev, Judy Siegel, Norman Siegler, Dr. William Silen, Joan Singer, Jonathan Andrew Stern, Howard Sutkin, Wells Wagner, Sherman Zell. We also think of the following yahrzeits that we observe on this Shabbat, as we think of Reba Alberts, David Abraham Eric, Stephen Barco, Edward Berman, Anna Bronstein, Robert Bilsma, Larry Chadoff, Brenda Heller Cohen, Elias A. Eigen, Joseph Fisher, Frida Friedman, Sarah Gersten, Doreen Gilbertson, Max Glantz, Joseph E. Goldine, Mark Goldstein, Ann Goodman, Betty Gordon, Irving Green, Neil Grossman, Cheryl Harlan, Donald Hyman, Selma Heller, Lena Hetzer, Arthur Hill, Howard Kaufman, Jacob Kayak, Samuel Lasky, Robert S. Levy, Amy D. Lowy, Don McRoberts, Joseph Nathan, former president of our congregation, Sherman Neymark, Sam Penner, Jenny Perkins, Mary Port, Aaron A. Richards, Betty Rossman, Francesca Rubin, Sarah Rudy, Sarah Salzberg, Shirley Shane, Mark Siegel, Idle Rose Smith, Gerald Stoner, Jacob N. Tarkovsky, Erwin Underweiser, Ben Waron. Zichronam Livracha, may all the memories of our loved ones endure as a blessing as we all rise, turning to page 121 for our mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, ועגלה וזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ותחומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילם מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירן בעלמא ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ויאמרו
Shalom Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael 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 Yaseh Shalom Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Ha'olam.
Shabbat Shalom. We're going to continue in the back as our bar mitzvah will lead us in Kiddush. We'll do Kiddush and Motzi.
Thank you. Near the end, he said, dying is like, I should have done it a long time ago. He changed the course of the world. He did.
I have classmates who thought he should spend. I mean, he wasn't